Gratitude for being here.
That's beautiful. I mean, gratitude for being here, gratitude for being here, gratitude for being here, as horrible as it can be. Where's the beginning of that? Where's the top of that?
There isn't any edge of it.
That's great.
No edge.
That's real mind exploration then. You cannot find a beginning or end.
I have a report.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do. A bit of story.
Yes, stories are good. I love stories. Don't you?
Once upon a time, not so long ago, this system began to open and open and open, an empathic, intuitive receptivity. And at the beginning, it was quite difficult to bear. I didn't know how to function in the world. It almost took me. Yeah. And I began to learn and be mentored and supported by grace. Different stages and waves of this opening and sensitizing. About 5-6 years ago, I was out in the Navajo Nation at night and did a prayer of surrender before going to bed, and was later on, after having fallen asleep, was lifted from my sleep with the words being ripped from my body and spoken loudly out of my mind and my mouth. Everything that's needed is within. Everything that's needed is within. It's ringing in the cells. And then, of course, then day-to-day life went on and got to see the tremendous support of that vibrational field of that. I mean, the words were so little compared to what was vibrating. Tremendous support from that. And other stages of yada yada of that continuing. But what my report most specifically is about the last 2 or 3 months. And it has been an experience of a continuation of the opening of the heart and the receptivity, and feeling the immense reactivity of mass consciousness of the human mind embodied in so many. Hearing the voices, feeling the terror. Some of my own, of course, but knowing it's not all my own. In the past, there'd always been a tremendous reactivity and going to all the strategies of cookies, or whatever, pushing other people away, all those strategies. Those weren't available during this. It was like, no, I couldn't do it. At the same time as this immense pain and suffering was being felt, compression in my chest, my body, my heart ached. I would wake up in the middle of the night, just this incredible heartache. At the same time, right on either side, like 2 angels standing on the other side of somebody who just had their legs blown off, was this presence and awareness. No activity, no movement allowed, no strategies allowed, but this full presence. My mind couldn't comprehend it, and that's what drove me to write to you and to ask to be here. during the last week, there's been a shift. Still the receptivity of the pain, the suffering, the despair, the dread, all of that heaviness, the condensedness around the heart. And yet, it's as though most of the weight was on the rocking boat and just a tiptoe was on the pier, and so there was a lot of the rockingness, you know? And now it's like the weight isn't given to either one, but they both so still fully exist. With this shift, just in these last few days, there's this, I'm so weary of the pretending, of the cloak, all the cloaks of the habit body, you know. It comes up and it's like, oh, but that's the state that here, now. And so that's the report. And now with the question, the habit body comes to the foreground, wanting to be, you know, there's still that movement of externally referencing for reassurance and confirmation.
Well, you've come to the right place.
I thought I had. Thank you. Yeah.
It's, you know, I love that I've grown weary of the habits, but the habits are part of the human body. So we have a habit of needing to eat to survive, and this confirmation. This is, you know, it's deeply embedded in our DNA, the hierarchy of our social order, so for survival. So when I went to my teacher, you know, I called him Papaji. He was like my father, because he was giving me a confirmation and a permission that my biological father didn't have capacity to give me. So not as your mother, but as your sister, your older sister. Yes. You can be naked to yourself. And if these old habits come on, you can recognize what they're made of, what's their substance, and discover you're always naked. That the habits are empty. They have no substance. They have no reality.
It's like they don't really have a use other than for this bit of a mirror.
Yeah,
to turn.
They are essentially nothing, and in that they don't control the life, and they don't impede the life.
Yeah.
Because life is free, and you're recognizing yourself as life.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You are very welcome.
Yeah.
Completely welcome.
Thank you.
It's so beautifully said and consciously recognized. My teacher told me that only people who are drawn to me or drawn to this teaching would come, and those people are ready. And really what is needed is confirmation. He was speaking about you. So your show demonstrated this conscious recognition of recognizing where everything is, and yet that confirmation is somehow sought. Confirmation is here. The challenge is receiving confirmation. Can you bear confirmation? Can you be willing to be naked in the spaciousness of your being? Where the habits of mind appear or disappear forever then becomes irrelevant, secondary to the radiance of yourself. So it is my joy to confirm, and it's very appropriate that we begin the first meeting, the first morning, with this confirmation. That's the bottom line. The rest, our conversations, are very important, but that's essential. Our conversations are really about somehow opening to that, or recognizing how we are caught up in something that distracts us from that, or whatever. That is it, this receiving self-confirmation of the limitless truth of who you are and of the limits that appears in. Physical limits, mental limits, emotional limits. And yet, what is limitless even in the midst of limits? The mind can't comprehend that, but that already knows itself. As you, always, from the first moment of consciousness, the first moment of this body being conscious. Whoa, I am. And then how we encumber that with definitions of who I am or habits of who I am. That I am is still free. It doesn't get free. It was never imprisoned. Still free. Still knows itself. It is your mind that surrenders to that.